Well, good morning everybody. Welcome back. Jiujitsu2000 here today. I'm back. Today I've got an interesting video for you. I want to talk about Alone Season 6. I want to talk about Episode 6. Got my notes right here. Miss Bella's not obviously here today. We had a long night last night. She watched the show, but we went to bed early. So here I am Friday the following day shooting this video, and she's at work. So if you haven't seen this episode, Alone Season 6, Episode 6, I highly recommend that you turn this video off. It will contain spoilers. A lot happened in this episode. So with that being said, let's get started. The quote comes on the screen. It says, "The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity." Amelia Earhart. So that's a powerful quote, tenacity. So let's start off. We're on day 26. We have 7 people left. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. We're talking about Nikki. One thing I want to make note of right off the bat, it's 25 degrees Fahrenheit outside, below freezing. She's fixing her thumbnail. She's going to make some squirrel soup. She used pine or some kind of pine needles to use as a cleansing for her thumb. So she's going to make squirrel soup with mushrooms. My apologies, there's a grain train leaving now. This thing's loaded. It's a loaded grain train. It's got 9 locomotives. 4 on the front, 3 in the middle right here, and there will be 2 more on the rear. These trains are huge, at over 18,000 tons. And yes, I used to drive them. So let's get back to it. She says all of her injuries, we're talking about Nikki still, all of her injuries so far have healed quickly. And then she's sitting behind the fire in her shelter, and then the next thing we see is her shelter catches on fire. Because I remember it was kind of in the evening. It's pretty crazy, and this fire is bad. It's not just a simple little fire, it's a big fire. Her shelter is up in flames. Crazy. So one thing that she did that I thought was really smart was she used the boughs of the trees to help put the fire out, to extinguish the flames. I thought that was very smart. You know, because when you're in a situation like that, it's crazy. You know, you have to react, and you have to go with your instincts, and you have to be a very fast problem solver at the moment. And she says, "I can't believe that I didn't get burned." She's looking down at her clothes, her body, herself. And the only thing that came to mind for me at that moment was maybe she was wearing wool. Wool has a very insulative factor to it against fire. It's gonna get noisy here again. There's the rear coming by. 2 more. Good deal. So now, this is the second fire that we've had with the girls. And I thought this was her again, but it wasn't. It was actually Michelle that had a fire on episode 3. So let's move forward. We're on day 27, 7 o'clock in the morning. There's 7 people left. We're talking about Michelle now. Her fishing barrel is tore up, which is kind of frustrating because she used to send that thing out with lines on it in hopes to let it catch fish, but it ain't working too well. It's broken. It looks really cold out there, and she's hungry. Let's not forget, it's day 27. Crazy. There's snow on the ground, and she has an episode where she gets kind of lightheaded for a minute, and she gets emotional, which is completely understandable. Let's move forward. Day 27 still. 10 o'clock. We're talking about Nikki again. Her morale is good considering what has just happened, is what I'm trying to say. Her shelter just burned, and she's handling it well. So she decides that she's going to rebuild her shelter using green poles, green wood, so it's got moisture in it so it won't burn. And she's expecting this chore to take 2 to 3 days to get her shelter back up. So we're moving forward now, 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:40. Day 28. Talking about Brady, there's 7 people left. Now this is something crazy. The opening shot, he's got some food and he's got this big old pan. And there's an annotation that comes on the screen and it says he found the pan washed up on the shore. That's crazy. How lucky does a guy get? You know, how lucky can a person get to get a pan, a beautiful, looks like a 10-inch carbon, what do they call it? Carbon steel pan or something. Crazy. Luck, the luck of finding something like that. That's like finding that shovel. It's crazy. So he misses his family, which is understandable. It's been almost a month. And then we look outside of his shelter, there's a shot, and there's icicles. It's cold outside. Let's move forward. We're about 11:25. We're still talking, well, we're actually talking about Barry now. And he makes a sign, and on the sign it's got like a white thing, and he's written in charcoal on the sign the words Camp Swift Victory. And he says that the fishing has been hit or miss. He's going to check his trap lines. And lo and behold, he has a hare, a rabbit. So he's excited, of course. I would be very happy. It's day 28, you know, to get a rabbit. It'd be pretty cool. One thing I noticed that he was doing when it came to skinning the animal was very smart. He laid down some boughs on the ground, and then he laid the rabbit down on that. He used the boughs as a plate or whatever to skin the rabbit. I thought that was very smart. Very clean meat processing operation that he had there. He's very grateful. You know, who wouldn't be? And then I'm noticing inside his shelter, he's got a big old Dutch oven pot. And inside of his shelter behind him, you can see there's a lot of writing all over the walls, you know, with charcoal, it looks like. So let's move forward. It's about 8:50 at night. He's talking to the camera. He's kind of doing his night, you know, talking to the camera, and then he just stops. Dead silence. He hears a bear. So he sends off this bear banger, and then he says, you know what, this has given me a real eye-opener. There was a bear walking all around my shelter and things like that. It's a real big eye-opener. He says, I think I'm going to make some changes around here. Let's move forward. Day 29, 8 in the morning. We're still talking about Barry. He says he's going to make these changes. So he decides to use the internals from the rabbit to put under a rock. And he's got some metal cans or tin cans or something like that as a alarm, a sound. So if something goes to digging around away from his shelter, which that's his idea, is to create a diversion for the bear, have the bear go over there where the entrails are, and hopefully he can hear that sound of those cans getting rattled, and then he'll be able to have a clear shot with his bow from a couple of different directions. That's his idea. I think it's smart. So he's turning this into a hunting opportunity. I think that's pretty cool. So let's move forward. We are on day 29 now. 10 o'clock in the morning. 7 people left. We're talking about Nathan. I noticed he had a raised bed inside of his shelter, and I think that's very, very, because that gives you an air gap, you know, of insulation factor above the ground to keep you away from conduction. I think that's pretty cool. 24 degrees outside Fahrenheit, and he's got a fish. While he was out there getting his fish, I noticed there was some rabbit tracks type activity in the snow. So there's rabbits walking around. So he says that the fish that he caught is a lake whitefish. And he's never had this kind of fish before. He's never ate this kind of fish. And it's a big fish. It looks nice. Then it shows a shot of him in his shelter. And he's already smoking this fish. And he's going to eat some. He's going to cook some and eat it. And he's going to smoke the rest. So very smart. And he's talking about how bad he wants to win the show, because his goal is to buy some land so he can work some land. So it's very interesting. Let's move forward. 2:40 in the afternoon, 7 people left. Talking about Michelle. The lake is freezing. She's got some really good shots of the lake there. She decides that she's going to go check her snares. And there's an annotation that comes on the screen because she's hungry. It says that she has lost 6 pounds per week since she's been there. So that's quite a bit of weight that she's lost so far. It's pretty crazy. I'm thinking about that because I did a 5-day challenge. In 5 days, I think I lost 4.5 pounds. So yeah, she's on par, you know. It's crazy. So she has a rabbit in her snare, and she gets very emotional. And she says, I want to win. I want to win this show. And at that moment, I realized I really liked Michelle. You know, I've always liked all the contestants, but at that moment, maybe the shot, and, you know, she lets herself out, you know, her personality, and I'm like, you know what? I like this girl. She's cool. She says, I want to win. Let's move forward. We're still on day 29. It's 4 o'clock. We're talking about Wyona. And the shoreline is iced up. She decides that she's going to fix her shelter a little bit. She said she wants to beef it up. She said, I wasn't really prepared for winter temperatures yet. So she decides to fix an exterior wall. So she's got an exterior wall, an internal wall. And she's going to stuff that pocket of space with boughs and sphagnum moss. She's making double walls, and that air space between is an insulation factor. Very smart of her. And I'm noticing that her shelter looks nice. She's going to stay warm in there. Good job for her. Spruce boughs and moss. Moving forward to day 30. 6:30 in the evening. Talking about Barry. 7 people left. He wakes up from a nap, gets up and goes and checks those rabbit internals, and he notices that the cans have been moved. He says, but I didn't hear anything because I was down, I was out, I was taking a nap, but the cans have moved, so he's kind of concerned. And my thoughts were, I'm looking at their headlamps, and they have Petzl headlamps, which are good headlamps, and I'm thinking, why don't they get these guys O-lights? Model H2R, get them a real headlamp. That was just my thoughts. I thought that was kind of funny. So we're moving forward, 7:30 at night, day 30, Michelle, 7 people left. She's happy. She misses wearing her wedding ring. And don't quote me, but I think she said, I did not bring a picture of my family out here. You know, they're in my thoughts, and that's enough for me. And I have mixed feelings on that. Some people do and some people don't. I think if I was to go, man, I don't know if I would take a picture or not. I think I probably would. I don't know. But I respect her for making that decision. And there was kind of a funny shot where she had skinned that rabbit and she was playing with the rabbit head and kind of fur like a puppet. Gave us a puppet show. Pop goes the weasel. Kind of funny. So let's move forward. Day 31. 9:56 in the morning. We're talking about Brady. And he shows a picture to the camera. He's got 4 kids and a wife at home. And he said, this is going to be a hard day for me. He's already upset because he missed his daughter's birthday. He decides that he's going to go fishing. And he's getting very bored. He's tired of being out here. He's not, you know, he just wants this journey to end. It's 31 days. He's already been out there over a month. You know, this has got to be tough. It's got to weigh heavily. He's a family man. He loves his kids. He loves his wife. Completely understandable. Moving forward, you know, he says, I've got 6 fillets left, but I feel like I'm wasting my time. So we're moving forward on day 31, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He's still bored, super bored. Let's move forward to day 32, 9 o'clock in the morning, 7 people left. We're still talking about Brady. He said he misses his family. He says, I'm done waiting for time. He decides to call in and tap out. So he makes his official tap out. And don't be hard on him. Don't be mad at him. You know, he went out there and gave it his best. And he missed his kids. He missed his family. It's completely understandable. I don't blame him one bit. He said, being a husband and a dad is what I live for. This is my life. This is what I live for. He said, I have a good job. I don't really need this money. Even though he admitted that the initial reason for him going on the show was for the money. But he said, basically, you know, I've came to some new thoughts out here, and it really lets me understand what's really important in life, which is my family, my kids, friends, things like that. His family is his joy. And Miss Bella told me, she said at that moment when we were watching the show, she said, you know, his wife will probably be very happy, you know, with his decision to come home. I agree with her, and his kids will be too. So that's pretty much it. That's the end of episode 6 for season 6. Now we have 6 people left. It's pretty crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary. Please feel free to leave your comments down below. Like this video. Share this video. And until next time, have a beautiful day. And I'll see you next time. I'm ready to go watch Lion King. It's going to be a good movie. See you later.